Can I come in, sir?
Come,
Good morning, sir.
Gamini.
Good morning, ma'am.
Have a seat, Gamini.
Thank you, sir.
So, Gamini, when is your interview fixed?
It's on 12th of May.
Sure. Okay. So, Gamini, you are from Bathinda,
Yes, sir.
and your father is a medical officer.
Yes.
You have done your Bachelor of Engineering, Computer Science and Engineering from Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh.
Yes.
You are passed out.
Yes.
So, what are you doing right now after doing your tech?
So I've been preparing for civil services.
You are fond of public speaking and debate, and you are a part of Lezami also.
I was a part of Lizami.
Nilesh Pushpa stories and brisk walking. Optional sociology. All right. So, first of all, tell us what were you doing in Lezami? What were your activities which you were looking after?
So I was a part of Lizamis during my college. It's a non-profit organization, a student body.
Okay.
So there we used to organize tri-city level events annually. And within the organization, we used to conduct general body meetings in which we used to host group discussions or one-on-one interviews just to make it a collaborative effort for the improvement of everybody as a group. So that was what we aimed at.
And the debates were part of Lezami only?
No, sir. I was a part of the debating club, Speakers Association and Study Circle. And there we used to debate, parliamentary debate and Model United Nations I used to participate in as part of that club.
So what is, if I were to ask you three things which struck you most in respect of Chandigarh, where you really felt that probably this thing is not available anywhere in the country? Okay, three things which struck you.
So Chandigarh is the city beauty as they call, and it is city of beauty. It's
City beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it is rightly stated so. There are many things I like about Chandigarh. Speaking about any three of them, I would suggest that first of all, it's the management of the traffic, which I believe is lacking in other states. And second is the planning of the city itself, the beautifully how it is managed and how nature is being taken care of in the implementation of the city. And third is Sukna Lake, one of the main points of Chandigarh, which keeps the residents connected with nature.
If I were to ask you, which are those buildings which were constructed personally by Le Corbusier in Chandigarh? Can you name some of them? One or two?
So I think Capitol Complex and the Open Hand Monument. These are the ones I remember right now, sir.
Museum and Art Gallery. Thank you. Okay. What is an acronym called GIGO in computer science? GIGO, G-I-G-O. What is it?
Sorry, sir, I cannot recall it.
It's one of the most elementary things in computer science. It is in Hindi, it is translated as जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी. जैसा बोगे वैसा काटोगे.
Okay, sir.
What is it?
Sir, I'm unable to recall. I'll read about it. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, what are the things you have to keep in mind to be a good public speaker?
Sir, to be a good public speaker, there are many things one needs to keep in mind. I would name a few of them. It should be the relatability with the audience. First and foremost would be that, according to me, because we need to generate curiosity among our audience so that they are able to listen to us. And in that, introduction plays a very important role. So how do we start our public speaking is very important. And secondly,
how will you start?
Sir, I can start. It depends on the occasion one is speaking about. So if we are sharing your personal story and you want to motivate others, so it can be in the form of a story.
Storytelling.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the second point?
In the ceremonial speaking, if you are there, so I have done ceremonial speaking more. So if you want to introduce a guest who is going to come, so you need to prepare those points which are relevant for the audience. And we need to tell them that how this particular lecture or visit is helpful for them. So that can be one area.
And then?
Thirdly, sir, the interaction that we have with the audience while public speaking is important. interactive sessions, making them a part of the speech, allowing them to ask questions, making eye contact with the public there. These can be some of the points.
So when the new Chief Minister of Punjab took over, uh, two announcements he made. Can you tell me what were the two announcements? The first one and then the second one followed after a few days.
Right, sir. So the first one was anti-corruption helpline that the Honorable Chief.
So when did he announce that? On a particular day?
Yes, sir. I believe it was on the day of the martyrdom of Bhagat Singh ji.
What was the second one?
The second, I will have to think.
Did he say something about rations?
Yes. So it was the doorstep delivery of rations.
Okay. All right. Now, can you tell me one particular story of Nilesh Mishra which impressed you very much?
Okay, sir. So I would like to tell one story. Sir, do I need to narrate?
No, just tell me the moral of the story. What is the message that was given?
Okay, sir. So the moral and the message of the story was gender equality and how both the male and the female need to contribute together to the household work, and it should not be the responsibility of just one person. And both must come together to share the responsibilities in a mutual manner.
My last question to you. Supposing you get Indian police service, that has been one of the option also. Second option, I think.
Yes.
Now you are posted as the district superintendent of police. Now, what steps, some new, tell us with some creative, innovative, how you will ensure protection of life of women in your district, so that they are not attacked, by people, and they have a safe journey back home from workplace. So, how will you ensure that? One or two, three steps.
So this is a complex issue, and if I'm given the opportunity to be able to solve this problem, I will look at the multi-pronged strategy. First would be that empowering women themselves through the self-defense classes, from the primary to the secondary education levels, so that whenever such kind of attack occurs, the first point of reference is the woman, and she herself is able to counter.
So you will coordinate with the educational authorities to impart this, self-defense techniques. How
Yes.
will you do that?
Yes,
You will
sir.
have to approach them, either in colleges or in schools or in employment. How will you do that?
Sir, at the school level and at the college level, we need to interact with the college authorities or the authorities, and I will take care that there is a self-defense teacher who is appointed solely who takes care of this issue.
Any other? This is the first one.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So second would
Those
be
who are working women.
Okay, sir. So second would be that to ensure their safety, I would use technology. First, it will be the street lighting, which is very essential for the women who return from their workplace. Second, we can use technology. There are many helpline numbers or the apps which are coming, which can work even in the offline mode, so that whenever a woman feels threatened, she can just press the button, and I will ensure that our
Any other?
control room
Fine.
is ready.
Correct. Anything else?
Third will be gender sensitization and working towards this problem. It is a long pronged strategy, and I will ensure that we work in mission mode. And there's a social campaign that is run to educate people about the harms and how the other gender needs to be respected. Right from the primary level, we need to teach the other gender.
And making them, the working women, picked up and dropped.
Yes, sir.
By
That
institutional sources. That
Yes.
also.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Ramani, what is the meaning of this? Your name, Gamini.
So it means walk.
Means walk. But walking is not your hobby, I think.
It is my hobby. So brisk walking is one of my hobbies.
Now, you have been actually associated with leadership program, public speaking. What are the three important qualities of a good leader?
Sir, the three important qualities of a good leader, in my opinion. So number one, I would say, is to keep the team motivated and enthusiastic. So a leader is as good as the team, and a leader's foremost responsibility should be keeping the team motivated towards whatever planning is to be done. So first will be that. Second will be that I will have to be empathetic towards the concerns of my team members, and I need to be a team member as well as a leader at the same point of time, not being aggressive with them, not forcing them into something which they are not able to do. And third will be an approach where everybody is given an equal opportunity to express their views, so that they feel that.
Too generalized actually. I wanted actually just three qualities. One, two, three.
Okay,
The
sir.
most important ones. The most important ones.
So one will be empathy. Second will be, I would suggest, uh, motivation towards whatever that was self-driven. And third quality would be speaking, public speaking, to be able to communicate one.
Good, you have to, I think, study more on that. Anyway, now tell me the name of the greatest leaders.
Leaders?
Three greatest leaders.
Okay, sir. So I would go with our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji.
One.
Secondly, our former Prime Minister, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. And third, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Madam Indira Gandhi.
Give some place to Mahatma Gandhi ji also.
Mahatma Gandhi ji also, sir.
Now evaluate actually any one of them on the parameters you actually explained. 1, 2, 3 qualities of a leader.
So including Mahatma Gandhi ji?
No, you mean Mahatma Gandhi. It was not in your list. Okay. I suggested that, but you gave actually 3 names. Now, whom you would like to evaluate on those 3 parameters, 3 qualities required in a leader?
Sir, current Prime Minister.
To evaluate.
Okay, sir. So the first parameter to keep the team motivated, I believe that our Prime Minister has been doing very well on that front, because with the he goes even live on radio to talk to the public and keep them enthused about whatever is going around. So first is that. Second, empathy. I think that I told that in every leader he should be able to connect to the people and the team. So I believe that in our Prime Minister that is there, and he's able to listen to the concerns of the public. So if I have to give an example, I think in the farm bills, when the people were unable to accept, so he was empathetic enough to take the farm laws back and listen to the public. So these are, and third, so I mentioned motivation and self-driven. So I believe that the Honorable Prime Minister is self-driven, and in many areas, he has been working really great, and even in the niche areas, his efforts have been immense.
Tell me 3 important reasons for joining civil service. Your joining of the civil services.
So for one is that I'm a people's person. I like to remain within grounded, and I want to.
Qualities required for a civil servant, good civil, efficient civil servant,
So one, the leadership skills.
which are not required elsewhere.
Okay, sir. So one, the leadership skills.
These are required elsewhere. Okay.
The second would be again empathy. I think that is very important for a bureaucrat, because at the end of the day we have to serve the people and we are their servants. So we need to understand their issues, and we need to take their place and understand whatever is bothering them. So second would be that, and third will be, sir, emotional intelligence.
Okay. There are important ones left out, but anyway, my last question is: you were mentioning about you see how effective the policing you will be doing for the women in your district. Now you were telling that I would like to do this, I mean, which were not by and large under your control, because there is a government, there are different departments, the education department, they may or may not agree, you see, with certain proposals sent by an SP, because SP for government, they very, I mean, you see, only one officer in the entire system. Tell me actually from the existing laws and regulations and schemes, how you will protect it in the existing system in terms of formal and informal arrangements already exist within that, yeah. Because you will be working under that actually environment, that system.
Right,
So what are the laws, what are the schemes, what are the styles?
So there are multiple laws which exist for the safety of women. So criminal law amendment, which is recently, which was floated, Criminal Law Amendment Act. Second is the
This is specifically for women.
no sir, it includes
No,
the
no, not so specifically for protection and welfare of the women.
So Domestic Violence Act 2005, that is for the safety of the woman. One is that. Second, certain provisions of the IPC which deal with sexual harassment and rape, matters like rape. So these provisions. So in my capacity, sir, these laws.
There are some more actually important special laws.
So law against child marriage is one. Uh, Third, so for the safety of women, so I'm unable to recall others. There are multiple, but
At least there are dozens, but tell at least few, matlab 4, 5 of them.
right, sir. So I'll take some time and answer. Uh, so till right now, I can remember some provisions of the IPC which are against acid attacks or rapes or these provisions.
There are some special laws for them. One of them you mentioned, domestic violence,
You mentioned one.
safety at workplace.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you, sir. Safety at workplace, women's safety at workplace. That's another act that we have. Yes, sir. Sexual harassment at the workplace. Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
Gamini, could you just explain the meaning of Raveen? What is the meaning of Punjab?
Ma'am, the meaning of Punjab is Panj and Ab. Panj means five and Ab means rivers. So it basically comes from the five.
Water. Ab doesn't mean rivers, it means water.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Ab means water. So it is basically the five rivers. The
Can you name the 5 rivers?
Yes, ma'am. Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj, and Vyas.
Okay. And how is it now divided between India and Pakistan? These rivers, the water flow?
Yes, ma'am. So the water flows to the Pakistan now, and even through Punjab, we have only Ravi, Satluj, and Vyas, which flows from the Indian Punjab, and the other two rivers are not currently flowing through.
Jhelum and Chenab.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have been part of the mock UN. Yes. If I ask you, has UN lost its relevance? What would you think?
Ma'am, I believe that United Nations stands relevant today, specifically in the economic and the social spheres. If we see the UN ECOSOC and the bodies like World Health Organization have been doing really good work, but there are some areas like the when there's a political crisis where there's more need of collaboration and collective effort to deal with such kind of issues.
You mentioned who. There's a huge controversy over it. So, what is the relevance if you're under influence of only one country and the whole world is in the grip of a pandemic?
Yes, ma'am, that's an issue. There was a controversy regarding the funding of the WHO and the role of certain countries which are more able to influence the working of WHO. But still, I believe that it has been doing really good work with initiatives where the vaccines are being given to the.
You said it was an issue. Has the issue been resolved?
The issue continues, ma'am. It was raised earlier, but till now the issue has not been resolved fully, and that is one area where WHO needs to work more to to make trust an issue. Trust deficit is an issue because it is believed that some countries are able to control it. So we need to give more say to the developing and the less developed countries as well.
Okay. What is Anandpur Sahib known for?
Anandpur Sahib is a place where Khalsa was established by 10th Guruji, Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So, one is that. Secondly, ma'am, it also holds the monument Virasat-e Khalsa, which finds its place in the 4 records for having the maximum number of tourists in a single day. So, second is that. And
Can you recall the year in which the Khalsa Panth was established?
yes, ma'am, in 1699.
My last question. You have done tech Yes.
Yes.
Why moving into administration?
Ma'am, tech was a very good opportunity, and I think it can affect number of people. But I believe that administration.
You got an offer, a PP,
Yes, ma'am. It was.
JP Morgan, which is again a very good bank.
Yes, ma'am.
So, did you take the offer?
No, ma'am. I decided to pursue civil services.
Okay. So, why? What is the motivating factor? Just one single reason.
Ma'am, working at the grassroots level and being able to impact people's life on a daily basis.
Enjoy an NGO.
Yes, ma'am, that is also one of the options, and that can also be done. But I think that being at the administrative level, we can do even more things because now we have the capacity, we have the powers, and we can utilize those powers in the benefit of the sections of the people.
So, it is basically power which enables you to work with the people.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's
Similar to what an NGO does.
yes.
So, what else?
Ma'am, there are many more things. Uh, Power is just one of them. That now you can execute the policies, and you're supposed to execute the policies. So your work and what your interests are, they're converging at one point. So is what I meant by.
What can be one more reason?
One more reason is, ma'am, that I am a person who likes to be at the. I'm a people's person, ma'am. So I like to interact with people and listen to their problems, and being a part of their solution is something which has motivated me to choose civil services as a career.
And what is your backup plan?
My backup plan is I'll appear again, ma'am, if I'm unable to clear this year.
King Solomon and the spider. Yes? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Gamini. Now you see the war is going on between Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
And some countries are putting pressure on India that we should not have trade relations with Russia or we should not enhance our trade with Russia. How do you look at it?
So I believe that India is a sovereign country and every action of ours should just be based on the strategic autonomy. And India's decision to increase the oil trade with Russia, it is not against the international rule of law because even the European countries have been borrowing oil, have been getting oil from Russia. So I think we are well within our rights to go ahead with this move.
So we should ignore all these threats.
As long as we are not going against the international law, we should ignore these threats.
And they will say that you will have consequences. So what do they mean and what do you think about those?
Yes, sir. They've been trying to put the pressure, but I think India has very well handled the pressure, and we have kept our own public as the foremost priority rather than anything else. And I think that if we go ahead, keeping in mind our own interests, we are very well able to handle these pressures.
Okay. Now, what is wolf warrior diplomacy? Have you heard this name?
Yes.
What is that?
So, wolf warrior diplomacy is a term which is associated with the actions of China as a country, as it likes to take over and it likes to establish its supremacy over the other countries. So,
This term is specifically used for a particular variety of diplomacy. What is that?
that is by, so if I may take an example, for example, in the Galwan clash, so they have been trying to use their military to overpower the other nations, be it in the South China Sea, they are displaying their naval power.
That is not the meaning of wolf warrior diplomacy.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'll read more about it.
It is aggressive diplomacy. When you talk in an aggressive manner, you threaten people. If you don't do this, this will be the consequence. That is wolf warrior diplomacy. Okay. Now, do you know who was Gargi in Indian history?
Gargi?
Have you heard this name?
Yes, sir, I have heard, but I need some more time to recollect.
Okay.
She was probably in the Rig Veda period, one of the female writers.
There's also Gargi College in Delhi.
Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall about it.
She's a very famous woman in Indian history.
I'll read about her, sir.
Okay. Now, what is the procedure for election of the President of India?
Sir, the election of the President of India, takes place with the consent from both the houses, the house of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha and the state assemblies vote for the election of the president.
How? What is the mechanism?
So it's the
What is the value of the vote? How do you arrive at the value of the vote?
so I'm unable to record the exact procedure. I have read about it, but I'll have to go back and read more on it. The exact.
Because we are going to elect a new president shortly, we should know about that.
Yes, I have read about it.
You
have to learn something about the electoral college. This is what we.
So the electoral college consists
Electoral
of
college is fine. The parliament, the
And
two
the
houses, and the state assembly.
Yes.
Okay, but how the value of the vote is calculated?
So I have a rough idea, but I think I'll not be able to answer exactly. So I'll read more about it. But talking roughly about it, sir, the exact number of votes are counted and then they're divided by the number of MPs and then we reach at the value of the vote. But I'm not sure.
Okay, so read about this more. What are the cases in which a president is entitled or authorized to issue an ordinance? Or what are the circumstances?
Sir, the president is authorized to issue an ordinance when the Lok Sabha is not in the session, because Rajya Sabha is a continuous house. But when the Lok Sabha is not in session and there's a national emergency which needs immediate attention, so the Honorable President can promulgate an ordinance
At the advice of?
at the advice of cabinet ministers and council of ministers. Sorry.
And what are the occasions when president can, ignore the advice of the council of ministers? Are there any cases like that?
Yes, sir. One of them is when they've lost majority in the house, then the president is not bound by the advice of the council of ministers.
And any other occasions?
Secondly, when he calls the house for the voting, which sorry, sir, I'll need some time.
Little more work on this would be useful.
Yes.
My last question is, what are the, actually this coincides with the question previously asked, but in a different context. What are the good qualities or desirable qualities, 3, of a good civil servant?
Number 1 would be accessibility to people. A good quality of a civil servant must be that he must be accessible to the people all the time. Secondly, he must be able to lead the team and enthuse them and motivate them towards any creative step that he or she can take. And third quality is to be able to socially sensitize the people and understand their demands and then find appropriate solutions and make it a people-driven process. Any kind of solution needs to come from the people, and a civil servant must have good communication skills to be able to involve people in whatever approach he or she is taking.
Okay, thank you, Gamini. Thank you.
Gamini, where in the government we have a use of big data and machine learning?
Sir, there are multiple uses. So first, I would like to talk about big data. So in the governance, there's a lot of data that is generated by different ministries. So as even the economic survey was talking about, that we need to make that data interconnected so that we can reach at a database and we are able to better target the population.
What would be the outcome? What are the targeted use of this?
So one would be to initiate new schemes based upon the data we have. For example, if we have data on the poverty line, or if we have data on the number of child marriages that are occurring in the country, we can take the desired steps. Second can be in the monitoring of the schemes that are currently being implemented. So with the use of the data, we can understand if the outcome of that scheme has been good or what more needs to be done. For example, sir, in the ICS software, Integrated Child Development Services, CAS software, so there every day it is being updated that how much amount of ration is being given. So these steps, when the data is generated, we can look into it and we can analyze it and take further steps. And some machine learning was the another question, I believe. In the machine learning,
It was connected with big data. Anyway, now suppose you find that your superiors are involved in corrupt practices. What will be your stand on this? They are not involving you, they are doing it themselves.
okay, sir. So I would like to use the institutional measures which are available to me to report any kind of corruption that is occurring in the system. So, be it reporting to the Lokpal or whatever. First of all, I would like to go with the reporting to the departmental office, whatever is there for the corruption.
They are your superiors. You may be risking your own career.
Yes, sir, but I believe that corruption is something which we should have no tolerance towards. And if there's something like this in the system, and if we tend to keep quiet, then we are doing a disservice to the nation.
If you don't do that, are you really compromising your responsibilities?
Yes, sir. As a citizen and as a person who is their junior and who knows and is still ignoring, I think I'm compromising there.
Okay. Now they say the sociology influences the economy, and economy influences the sociology. Can you try to decipher this interrelationship?
Yes, sir. So, if I may use an example of the sociological thinker and explain this concept.
Yeah.
So, sir, I would like to use the work of Karl Marx, who has very beautifully explained the interconnection between sociology and economics. So, economics being the base and sociology being the superstructure. So, when the economy changes, the sociological factors alongside change. For example, now technology is entering, and we are entering into a fourth industrial revolution. Economically, we are moving forward. So, in the same way, sociology is moving within the family size. We are seeing that nuclear families are occurring because of the out migration of people to the centers where the technological boom is occurring. So both of them are working side by side. Secondly, in the lifestyle changes, in the consumption patterns are changing. So that is how the economy and sociology are being interrelated.
They are working side by side, or they are working opposite to each other?
They are working side by side, but in some cases, there's also a lag that is seen, that sometimes the economy tends to move forward and the sociological structures tend to stay behind. But mostly, we see that they work in tandem with each other.
Okay, final question. The economy of welfare state. Now we have becoming a welfare state, particularly because of COVID and all. Economically speaking, is that good or bad?
So economically also, I believe.
Because these are non-productive expenditure.
So I believe that economically also, it is a good step if it is targeted to the people who actually need the services. So I think it will have ripple effect. So if the government spends on education, on health, it is going to have ripple effect, and the government can expect more returns from the people itself. So economically also, this measure is.
I didn't mean spending on education is not the issue. We are talking about welfare, giving a few thousand rupees to everybody, like farmers giving 6,000 rupees every month. Whether that kind of welfare activity are counterproductive for economic growth.
So I believe they're productive for economic growth, because giving cash in the hands of the farmer who are already distressed, it economically also it leads to the creation of demand in the society. And if demand is there in the society, we can expect industries to boom. And at the end, government will benefit from the more tax collection.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Gamini, we'll take you back for a few moments. We'll call you again for your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come. Have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
So Gamini, your interview is on 12th May. So you have got quite time,
Yes.
almost a month with you. For the first time, you are appearing at the civil services.
Yes.
All right. So Gamini, let me first of all assess you, and before that, let me ask you, how do you think you assess yourself in today's interview?
So it was not up to the mark. I could have done much better. I think I was a little tired, so I have not been able to give my best.
So tired because some other mocks were there?
Yes, one other mock was there, and I've been waiting since morning for that. So that might be the reason. And I need to brush up on some things which I
So
was
which are the
forgetting.
areas where you need to brush up as per your own?
Yes, I believe that these qualities of civil servant, these things could have been answered in a very good manner. And secondly, as sir asked about the electoral college and the manner of election of president, these things I can brush, quality I can brush a little bit. The technical details I tend to be forgetting. So these are the areas which I need more work on.
Okay. So Gamini, first of all, quickly I will go through some of your strengths. So as far as alertness is concerned, you were mentally alert, and you had an analytical skills to critical powers of assimilation of the question and coming out with the answers. But while giving answers, the most important thing you have to remember, there are three things that are important. Number one, you must prioritize your answers. Supposing we asked you about the leadership qualities, the most important leadership quality should come first,
Okay.
then next.
Yes, sir.
Because otherwise what will happen, that in the interview, if you don't come to the straight to the most important part, then you will be cut short and they will move to another question. So you must prioritize, think for a while inside, let it do some churning inside, and then prioritize and come out with the first. The same thing regarding why do you want to join civil services, or for that matter public speaking. So many questions were there where a lot of scope was there for you to come out with really ingenuity and interesting answers.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
they were open-ended questions. Okay, so you were clear, logical, and current affairs knowledge was also fairly good. Your depth of interest was fine, but the knowledge portion, it will do you a lot of good, and you have a lot of time. You can study much more so that you prepare not only for the first question but for subsequent supplementaries to that question also.
Yes, sir.
So instead of just learning small bits of everything, you must go deep into that so that you are prepared for the entire length of the question.
Yes, sir.
Then communication skills are fairly good. Your structuring of sentence, everything was coherent, clear. Your eye movement and your general demeanor, your poise, everything was fine. And a very good presentation you made. Clarity of thought was there, but as I said, priority. So number one was priority. Number two, whenever a question is asked to you which has a certain amount of either ambiguity, or there is a likelihood of that question being controversial or provocative, so then you must try to give both the sides, pros and cons. And
Right.
then if they ask you, for example, just to give you example, it can be a question relating to reservation, Article 370, women's empowerment, corruption. These are all provocative questions, and you must give both the sides. Okay.
Okay.
And then if they ask you to give your opinion, always try to follow the official line.
Okay, sir.
Don't go against that. Don't take risks. This interview is not for taking risks, and risks you can take afterwards when you join the service. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And what dress will you be wearing on that day?
So I'll be wearing a sari.
Fine. Then your confidence was absolutely very good, brilliant. Now coming to some specific areas where we would like to tell you. Okay. Number one is, first of all, general areas. You must know Chandigarh. You must know fully what are the important points of. I asked you 3 points of Chandigarh. The number one was the architecture. Number two was infrastructure. Okay.
Okay, so that.
Then comes other things. You said about traffic, etc. They are important. But number one is architecture. Number two is infrastructure. Then you come to traffic and other things. Okay.
So the three things you mentioned, you see, the other person can say they are available in Gandhinagar, they are in Gurgaon and many other cities also.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. So similarly, in the case of leadership, because I'm straight away coming to the points. Now, in leadership, you said motivation. Now, leadership, as the name suggests, number one, you have to lead from the front. So that is one important quality of a leader, lead from the front. he must have a vision, okay? Then he must have integrity,
Yes.
he must have authenticity, and a very important purpose, he must have a larger purpose than himself, bigger purpose. Mahatma Gandhi had a bigger purpose of getting freedom for this country. So the leader must possess a bigger purpose than his own individual purpose. Then there are many others. He has to be problem solver, he has to be empathetic, and he must create more leaders. He must take the team along, so a team person. There are many areas, at least 20 important attributes of leadership are there. I would only suggest to you, find time to read through the Harvard Business School's approach. It's called ontological approach to leadership.
Okay, sir.
Ontological. It says only 3 things are the most important things: integrity, authenticity, and having a larger purpose, bigger purpose. So they are motivation, etc. They will come later on. So prioritize again. And third thing, which I will say, is always back it up with examples.
Okay.
For example, you can say, if you want to express empathy, so you can name some person who was very empathetic, you know. So
Yes,
similarly, if it is accountability, so accountability is also another characteristic. So you can mention about Lal Bahadur Shastri, who resigned as the railway minister. He
Yes.
became accountable. He said, even though he was not driving the train, but he took responsibility. So give examples, always examples.
I would suggest that you should give examples of the Prime Minister or anybody who is living here, so that may become controversial. You know, you said about Narendra Modi so much. It is risky.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure that you should not give, but I would not give.
You see, in leader, the best leaders, you see the topmost leaders in town, again the priority.
Yes.
So the priority would have been Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes,
because he is undisputed. About Narendra Modi, or for that matter Indira Gandhi, people may reserve their opinion about it.
Yes,
they may question you also, but Mahatma Gandhi, no one is going to question. And international level, you can say Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln. In Indian context, you can say Swami Vivekananda.
Yes,
you see,
sir.
they are the leaders. You see.
Yes, sir.
So
Right.
Modi and Indira Gandhi, and they can come later on. Atal Bihari Vajpayee also. So there is no doubt they are good lead. They are, but priority again.
Yes.
The priority. Okay. Now coming to the subject of computer science and engineering. So one question, which was very simple question, Gigo, I asked you.
Yes, sir.
So now, so study on that.
Okay, sir.
What is the computer language in mobile phones? A simple question.
Yes.
People tend to forget it. Okay. So computer science and engineering, your subject must be prepared well. Then public speaking, debate, Lizami I asked you, debate and public speaking I asked you. You came out fine. Nilesh Mishra stories I asked you, so you can be asked to narrate any particular thing. Brisk walking and sociology. Now coming to some of the questions, where all other questions you came out with well, but then the reasons for joining the civil service. Now you said 3 reasons. Now they are not the most important reasons, isn't it? Now the 3 reasons which I would suggest, I'm not at all trying to say that you follow it,
Yes,
but
sir.
it is just by your suggestion, your reasoning why you left the private company, which was a very good company, and you want to join. One reason could be, for example, that civil services provide leadership position at a fairly young age, responsible leadership positions at a very young age. For example, you become a sub-divisional magistrate after 2 years in IAS, and similarly collector after 7 to 10 years. So very responsible leadership positions at a very young age. So does in the case of other civil services also. Second is, it gives you an opportunity to be a part of the public policy making process.
Okay.
Public policy making
making
process. There are 6 steps to that. At every step, the civil servant is involved. So problem identification, agenda setting, that is options, which are the options to solve that problem. Then the policy formulation, policy legitimization, policy implementation, and policy evaluation. So there are 6 steps. The book on public policy by Dye, if you just read that, you will be able to find it.
Okay,
So
sir.
civil servant is involved in all the 6 steps, which makes it unique from other services.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
The
sir.
third is exposure. So the exposure it gives you in the entire gamut, the entire picture of so many departments, ministries, and so on. So your horizon is widened. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fourth is it gives you lot many opportunity to be creative and innovative. So something new you can do. And fifth is you can do lot of good to the people of this country. Okay.
Yes.
So these are some of the real reasons which will make an impression. Only talking about empathy being that it will give you a chance to be involved with the people. You have to support it with some answers which should not appear to be just pedestrian answers. It should be logical and conclusive. All right.
Right.
Then how effective policing. So the laws relating to women,
Yes,
that
sir.
you need to prepare. So coupled with that, I would suggest that you read all the schemes, programs, laws, public policies in respect of women, children, senior citizens, and scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, disadvantaged, disabled, all those people.
Yes, sir.
There are special laws
Yes,
which
sir.
have been made. Study them. What is the modus operandi? If that question I asked you, how will you protect the lives of the people? So the preventive steps you rightly said. But then if such a thing happens, then you have to take steps under the law. So
Yes.
domestic violence, you remembered one or two acts,
Yes.
but there are plethora of acts. Almost a dozen acts are there.
Yes.
Study them. Similarly for children. Then study the functions of the collector.
Okay, sir.
What are the functions? The revenue administration, the magisterial function, the revenue administration, understand the hierarchy, who are the people working under the collector right up to the patwari.
Okay.
Similarly, magisterial function under criminal procedure code. Third is coordination function. He is the coordinating head of the district. All departments, 20, 30 departments, agriculture, cooperation, forest, everything, he coordinates. Okay. Fourth
Yes.
is the function relating to elections. And fifth is natural calamities. For example, even disasters, natural calamities, even COVID-19. So you must understand the entire thing.
Okay.
And then about Punjab. So I asked you one question about you were able to come out with one answer. The other thing was ration. You were
Yes.
not able to understand. Since you belong to Punjab, everything about Punjab you should know.
Yes.
Everything, the cultural aspect, the agriculture, the drug menace. You
Yes,
see
sir.
why the youth is moving in that direction. What could be the reason? Have they got a lot of money that they spend that money in purchasing high valued cars, being part of the clubs, going there, and a lot of liquor, booze, and drugs. So what is the social problem? Why the social fabric of Punjab is absolutely disintegrating? So the problems of Punjab, then the cultural aspect, the agriculture, for example, the important institutions, the border problem with Pakistan, everything about Punjab you should understand. Then the problem of Punjab with Haryana, that you must understand,
Yes, sir.
SYL and
Yes,
all
sir.
those things, and the capital. And they may ask you why this AAP they came out with a resolution about Chandigarh. Then Khalsa, you were able to come out with Anandpur Sahib, and the United Nations and its institution you must study, and the relations of India with its neighbors, the present international scene, the world order, what is happening in Lanka and in Pakistan and Russia and Ukraine and everything you must understand. And then of course wolf warrior diplomacy, these are some of the very recently coined words. Gargi, election of the president, that you need to study.
Yes.
So study the constitution article by article.
Okay, sir.
Don't read any commentaries, article by article. You
Okay.
should know where this civil servant, where do they appear in 311, 312, where do the all India services appear, president, prime minister, all these things. And ordinance you were able to come out when the Lok Sabha announced. Everything else is fine. So big data and machine learning, that you have to understand, and corruption. What is the position of India in regard to corruption and so on. And sociology influences the economy. So an economy of a welfare state, whether the doles and the subsidy given to the farmers, is it in the right direction, or there should be some more productive schemes for them rather than this thing. This is a very debatable issue that
Yes,
people
sir.
are saying huge amount of money is being passed on, but you can't criticize it.
Yes.
You have to give pros and cons. Well, farmers are, after all, producing the food grains for this country. And they need to be. There are problems about the agriculture inputs being very high. So it's
Yes,
a
sir.
kind of tokenism, that respect for the farmer.
respect.
That is how you will,
Yes.
model your answer.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Can I add one thing?
Yes, sir.
In response to my question about corruption by superior,
Yes, sir.
I think your responsibility is about you and your juniors.
Okay.
For seniors, you can take a stand, but you're not obligated.
Okay, sir. So, sir, what should be the approach to such kind of questions? What could have been the answer of this that I will not?
No, I'm not saying you will not. I'm saying
Okay.
that you can say that my obligation is this much, but then I will see what can be done or how it can be done. Something like this. You will
Okay.
study the merit of the allegations, evidence of the allegations. There are a number of things that you should be clear about before taking it forward.
Okay, okay, sir.
You see,
Thank
you have to understand this thing, that you can keep yourself away from the corruption by being ethical, and you can also exercise control over your subordinates, but you don't exercise control over your superiors, do you?
No.
Unless and until you are a part of an investigating agencies where it is your duty to look after the entire corruption issue. There,
Okay.
anyone, even if it is chief minister or any other, but being a part of the hierarchy, your job is well taken off in case you exercise value system in respect of yourself and
Okay.
ensure that the corrupts do not survive under you. So you
Okay.
take it.
So,
Senior-
sir, as the question was posed that if you are aware that the corruption is taking place, so what would I say, that I will have to ignore the issue or I will not take any step? Like, what can be the answer? Because both the
You
sides.
can say that I'll make a judgment based on evidence and the level of corruptions, and then there are other anonymous avenues.
Okay.
This is one suggestion.
Okay.
But your responsibility is not
Not there.
Yes.
Okay.
See, you will say, I will find out what evidence is there. I will weigh that evidence and then take action on the basis of the evidence if it is available.
Okay,
Don't
sir.
commit anything on this issue.
Because
Okay.
sometimes they are all here and say, so may
Okay.
not be as
Okay.
And it may not fall in your actually jurisdiction.
Yes,
The
sir.
action may not fall in your jurisdiction.
Unless and
Right,
until
sir.
you are in charge of an investigating agency,
Right. sir.
yes, there only. But
Okay.
otherwise, you are not supposed to watch the actions of your superiors.
Okay.
Any other question you have?
So, yes, whenever a panelist member is asking the question, do we need to look at the other members also? Or we
Your
should
eye contact
engage?
should be basically, say about 80 to 90%, it should be with that member. But
Okay.
during answering the question, you should also scan your eyes to the left, to the right, once in a while, so that everyone understands that you are also looking towards them also. You are
Okay,
keeping
sir.
them
in
engaged.
your case. You are 100% to the person
Yes,
that you
sir.
are talking to.
Yes, sir. So I need to improve.
Once in a while.
Okay, sir. And so one more question I had was regarding Chandigarh, the capital issue.
Hmm.
So can we say that it should be left to the people only? So as a candidate from Punjab, what should be the stance? Like,
See,
keep
the
it.
construction of a new capital in today's times the cost is phenomenal, and it takes 30 to 40 years to construct a capital. And
Yes.
therefore, instead of spending more from the public money, we should let status quo remain. It should remain a union territory under
Okay.
Ministry of Home Affairs, and both the states are performing their jobs by having lot of buildings and area in this, and it is serving the job very well. So it should continue as such, rather than allocating thousands of crores of rupees, and it takes 30-40 years before a capital is made.
Right, sir.
Functionally, there is no issue.
Yes,
They
sir.
both are working
Working.
fine. So that is the reason to continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Okay,
Thank you,
good
sir.
luck.
Thank
You'll
you.
do very well,
Thank you.
don't worry. Just prepare for 1 month
Yes, sir.
on the areas which we have indicated.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.